It was a bright afternoon, the kind that made the small town of Willow Creek look peaceful, almost perfect. Birds sang from the oak trees, children's laughter echoed from the park, and shopkeepers chatted over the hum of daily business. No one could have imagined that in just a few moments, this quiet peace would be shattered by an act of cruelty. Evelyn Parker, a 76-year-old widow, was walking home from the local grocery store, her hands trembling slightly under the weight of a few small bags. Her thin frame and soft silver hair made her look fragile, yet her eyes held the quiet strength of someone who had seen both joy and hardship. She lived alone in a small house at the edge of town, ever since her husband, Tom, passed away 5 years ago. Every Thursday, she walked to town to buy her essentials and share small conversations with the store clerk, who always smiled kindly at her. But that Thursday was different. As Evelyn turned into a narrow alley shortcut, one she had taken hundreds of times before, a man in a dark hoodie stepped out from behind a dumpster. His face was hidden under a black mask, and in his shaking hand, a gun gleamed in the sunlight. "Give me your bag, old lady," he barked, voice trembling with anger and desperation. Evelyn froze. Her heart pounded so fast she could barely breathe. "Please," she whispered, "I only have a few dollars and my medicine." "I said give it to me," he shouted again, waving the gun closer to her face. Tears welled up in her eyes as she held out her trembling hands, offering the bag. In that moment, fear wrapped around her like ice. She wasn't afraid of losing the money. She was afraid of never going home again. The man snatched her bag, pushed her roughly to the ground, and ran off. Evelyn lay there, clutching her chest, trying to calm the storm inside her. Across the street, in front of a small diner, 4 men in leather jackets were having lunch beside their motorcycles. The patch on their backs read Iron Hearts MC, a local biker group known for helping veterans and supporting community causes. They were rough on the outside, but everyone in Willow Creek knew they had hearts of gold. One of them, a tall man named Rex, noticed the commotion. He saw Evelyn fall, saw the man sprinting away, and didn't hesitate. "Jake, Mason, Tyler, on your bikes now," Rex shouted. Engines roared to life like thunder, the air filled with the sound of power, justice, and anger. The thief ran down the street, clutching the stolen bag, but the growl of engines behind him made him glance back in panic. The bikers closed in fast, splitting into 2 directions, cutting off every possible escape route. Rex rode up beside the man, his deep voice booming, "You just messed with the wrong woman." The thief stumbled, tripping over his own feet. Before he could get up, Jake jumped off his bike and pinned him down. Mason took the gun, unloading it safely. Tyler grabbed the stolen bag and handed it back to Rex. When Rex returned to the alley, Evelyn was still on the ground, tears streaking her wrinkled cheeks. But as she saw those bikers approach, her fear slowly turned into disbelief. "Ma'am," Rex said softly, kneeling beside her, "you're safe now. We got your things back." Her lips trembled. You did that for me." Rex smiled gently. "No one deserves to be treated like that, ma'am, not in our town." He helped her to her feet and brushed the dust off her coat. Jake picked up her groceries, carefully gathering each item that had spilled on the ground. Tyler offered her his jacket when he noticed her shaking. The police arrived soon after. The thief, terrified and ashamed, didn't resist as they took him away. Evelyn gave her statement, but her heart was too heavy for words. When it was over, Rex offered to drive her home. As they rode slowly through the streets, people peeked out of their shops, watching the sight, a kind old woman on the back of a roaring motorcycle, escorted by 3 others, like a queen guarded by her knights. For the first time in years, Evelyn felt safe. At her home, she invited the bikers in for tea, though they tried to refuse politely. "At least 1 cup," she insisted, smiling through tears. "It's the least I can do." Inside her small, cozy kitchen, the bikers listened to her talk about her late husband, her garden, and how lonely it had been since he passed. The men, tough as steel on the outside, listened quietly, humbled by her strength and grace. Before leaving, Rex handed her a card with their club's number. "If anyone bothers you again, call us day or night." Evelyn nodded, her eyes shining. "Thank you, boys, you're my angels in leather." From that day on, the Iron Hearts made it a habit to check in on her every week. Sometimes they brought groceries, sometimes flowers, sometimes just conversation. Evelyn became like family to them. Mama Evelyn, they called her. But her story didn't stay small. A passerby had recorded part of the chase on their phone. Within hours, the video went viral. People from around the world watched as the bikers delivered instant justice and protected an innocent soul. Comments flooded in, some cheering, some crying, but all inspired. Evelyn, sitting in her little house, watched the video too. She smiled softly, whispering, "Tom would have been proud." The biker club received national attention, but they didn't care about fame. They cared that they'd done the right thing. They cared that Evelyn smiled again. Weeks later, Rex visited her again, bringing her a small patch stitched with golden thread. It read, "Honorary Iron Heart." He said, "This is for you, Mama Evelyn, your family now." She pressed the patch to her heart and said, "You gave me back my faith in people. I'll never forget that." And neither would anyone who heard her story. Because kindness, even when wrapped in leather and roaring engines, is still kindness.